Hi there, I am Tanya Windecker and I have complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So today I want to talk about triggers. I'm very fortunate to have you guys messaging me all the time and we have discussions, but a lot of really difficult things. And one of them that has been keep coming up is triggers. So I want to talk today about what are triggers, or what does it mean to be triggered and what does it not. Because for a large chunk of my life I thought I was always triggered and that was just it. I felt really out of control, and it took me a long time to realize that there's actually two distinct different things happening here. Both feel really overwhelming, but one I can kind of learn to master myself or understand better and do something about on my own, while the other one, oh boy, the other one is a different story, and that is what I refer to when I speak about being triggered. That's the times when we see something on the news or on TV, on radio, when we read something, when someone says something, we run into someone, and all in a sudden up comes all those images, those voices, those bodily sensations and memories from the traumatic experience that happened like years ago, but it feels life real now. It's like it's happening right in this very moment, and it's like what they call flashbacks. And then you have your nightmares and night terrors as well. So once I'm triggered, my brain is stuck in there, and reality is gone. I forget how old I am. I forget what I work, or I forget everything. That's being triggered. And for most of my life, I needed professional help to help myself through that. It took me a couple of weeks to come back down once I had all these memories come back up, or like my psychiatrist calls, my PTSD has flared up. And that is extremely difficult. And I think in those instances, professional help was essential for me. I can cope much better these days, but initially to learn, it is really essential to have a therapist who can be there with you, okay? And when I say being there with you with all those emotions and stuff, I also mean that they got to be somehow contained. I can't have, when I'm going through flashbacks, I can't have a therapist who starts to cry, because, I don't know, this might be me, and I'm happy to hear your thoughts on this as well, but if you had complex trauma, you had all these interpersonal trauma and developmental trauma, the chances that you didn't have an empathetic, nurturing, caring and so forth person in your life back then to help you to kind of restore some sense of safety after all the trauma, if you didn't have that back then, it feels really out of place now as an adult when you have a flashback and you have your therapist cry. And in those moments, I really can't deal with my own emotions, and seeing someone else being emotional, it just totally throws me, shuts me off, and then I most of the time leave the session more disturbed or more troubled than I actually was when I came into. So I just wanted to put that out here. It's like totally off track now, but I think it is really important to realize that for the therapists out there, that how difficult that can be for someone who has complex PTSD, seeing other people getting emotional about our own traumas. There's a time and place, and when I'm feeling triggered and I'm having flashback and so forth, that's not the right time. But I also want to mention here, we recently started a closed Facebook group, so where we can have some more private discussions about things and how we're going on a day-to-day how we function on a day-to-day basis. It should be so empowering and inspiring for us to keep us going. So, but either way, I want to see your comments down below somewhere, and what you do to help you get through those times when you are being triggered. Okay, the other side of that was the ones I thought they were triggers, but they're not really. It just felt really overwhelming. And they're the times when, for example, you have a lot of deadlines and someone else gives you another task that you need to complete, or you have a friendship and that friend's kind of disappearing out of your life, and things like that, and your emotions all of a sudden they just go up, because I know if you had developmental trauma, complex trauma in your childhood, the chances are that you miss the milestones where we learn as a child how to regulate our emotions. So now as an adult, I quite often feel like that toddler in the shopping centre is totally out of control and I can't contain those emotions. It's too much. And I know I'm not alone. I know I get your messages all the time. And it's really hard to learn to regulate those emotions as an adult. But we know, we've got the brain scans, we have everything now. We've got the proof that our brain has tremendous capacity to change and build new neuronal pathways, and we can learn to do so for ourselves. You know, it's not going to be perfect, but we can manage, and we can it can help us get back on track and have a more joyous life. You know, being able to be curious about life again and explore new things without having the fear that I might have a tantrum like a toddler. It's like I shouldn't. Sometimes I can laugh about it. Other times I actually get really quite emotional and sad about it, because it goes, you know, when you have your emotions go from just being a little bit sad within seconds to suicidal thoughts, from being a little bit frustrated to destructive rage and things like that. If that happens so quickly that it feels to you, you have no control over it, it is exhausting, you know. And I know, but you can work on this, and it will get better, I promise. I know, I want it for you so badly. So please, as always, feel free to share what you do to help you to regulate your emotions. You know, I constantly check in with myself, and at least once an hour, and whether, you know, how am I feeling right now? Is there any tightness anywhere in my body? You know, what are my thoughts? You know, am I stuck on something? And things like that. I constantly check in with myself to help me to regulate things a little bit better for myself. So, as always, they're just my thoughts, but I'd love to hear from you guys. So, but lots of love and rainbows as always. Bye for now.